Did you know the Canadian Grand Prix has a corner named the Wall of Champions, not because of how many champions have been crowned there, but because of how many champions have crashed there? The Canadian Grand Prix was first held in 1978, and we've since seen 43 races at that track. The track is 4.361 kilometers long, with 56 laps of racing, totaling over 305 kilometers. The track record is from Sebastian Vettel in 2019, with a 1 minute 10.240. The track has an average winning margin of just over 10 seconds, but in the past 10 races, we've seen that winning margin come down slightly to 7.119 seconds. The closest winning margin was a mere 0.174 seconds back in 2000. Talk about a close finish. Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton reigned supreme around this track, having the most pole positions and the most wins. The average pole margin at this track is 0.275 seconds, and I'm sure we'll see an even closer margin come this year. The pole to win conversion percentage at this track is 48.84%, and only 3 of the past 10 Grand Prix have been won from pole position, which I think is a really surprising stat. The inaugural winner is, of course, who the track is named after, and that is Gilles Villeneuve. Yes, I'm sure I probably butchered that name, but forgive me, I can only try. So those are some of the regular statistics about this track, but what are some other more maybe interesting ones or different stats that you don't always think about on a daily basis? First off, talking about lap times on this track, from 1978 to the current times, lap times have actually decreased by over 25 seconds, which goes to show just how absolutely fast these new cars have gotten over the years. I spoke on the qualifying margins previously, but 2024 actually saw identical times set by Russell and Verstappen down to the thousandth. This track is also known for some inclement weather as well as safety cars, and we saw in 2011 one of the wettest and craziest races of all time, where we actually saw 6 safety car appearances throughout the race, where Jenson Button ended up winning by the end of the many hour-long race. Thankfully, for whoever is a fan of the Canadian Grand Prix, the current contract will see it go through 2031 at the earliest, which I am a big fan of. Also, one last interesting fact, groundhogs. Groundhogs are a big theme at the Canadian Grand Prix. They make a regular appearance at the track, with drivers having to take evasive action oftentimes to avoid hitting them. Most notably in 2024, we saw Verstappen had to swerve to avoid hitting one in the middle of a race, as well as Carlos Sainz avoiding one during practice as well. So who has reigned supreme at the Canadian Grand Prix in recent times? That is, of course, Max Verstappen. He has won 3 races on the bounce. Prior to that, in 21 and 20, there was no races held due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This circuit is one that the drivers can actually overtake on. There are a few good opportunities for overtaking at this track. The first one is turn 1, where there is a 90-degree turn after a nice DRS section. I would say it's probably the second best place to overtake. It's a relatively short run to turn 1, so the drivers have to be quite close to make a move even with the DRS. And we are definitely bound to see many drivers getting this turn wrong and going over the grass and cutting turn 2, which we tend to see every single year. Turn 8 is the second DRS zone, and it is a possible overtaking spot, but it is a lot less common because most drivers will end up staying relatively close to the driver ahead so that they can prepare themselves for later down in the lap where there are some better opportunities for overtaking. Turn 10 is another good opportunity for overtaking. It's a tight hairpin before the long straight, but most drivers will tend to hold off passing here in order to stay very close for the very long straight. Sometimes, though, drivers will pass anyways if they do have a tire advantage or a car advantage. Last up, the best opportunity for overtaking is definitely going to be at turn 13 and turn 14, and that is the chicane and the Wall of Champions. It is after a very long DRS straight. Even with the length of the straight and the DRS, it's not always a slam dunk pass, and drivers have to balance the risk versus the reward because of the tricky turn 13 and 14 chicane and the Wall of Champions. Speaking of the Wall of Champions, it is one of the biggest challenges faced by the drivers on this track. It is at turn 14, and it is nicknamed the Wall of Champions because it has claimed the races of many world champions. It initially got its nickname in 1999 when Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, and Jacques Villeneuve hit the wall all in the same race. No kidding why it is called the Wall of Champions. Another challenge for the drivers is the car setup and the reliability. The track has very long straights with slow, tight turns that create a struggle to balance straight line speed with corner performance. Also, because of those long straights and the heavy braking zones, brakes are often an area of concern for drivers and teams. So while the Canadian Grand Prix is maybe not the most traditional of tracks, it is still one of the most well-liked by fans and drivers. It often produces unpredictable races and some really unforgettable moments, like some moments we've talked about already. It holds a special place in my heart because it was the first and only F1 race that I've attended so far, and it was a really excellent experience. Have you had the opportunity to go to an F1 race before? Let me know down in the comments below if you have, or if you haven't, which one would you like to go to? So those are my fast facts for the Canadian Grand Prix, which is right around the corner. I will be looking forward to this race, and I hope you all will be looking forward to it as well. If you're interested, give the video a like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below how you're feeling about the upcoming races before the summer break. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.